Good morning, everyone. The holidays have come early with the Christmas Squeezer. Nah, they're still just calling it Full Squeezer. We got two new kits today. I am going to talk about both of these in a bit of detail in the main channel video tomorrow, since I'm talking about screen and both these weapons have it. But I decided why not talk about it in a little bit more detail here and give it to you guys a day early on the second channel. So, we have Squeezer with Auto Bomb and the Splat color screen, and we have Undercover Brella with Torpedo and the Splat color screen. Basically exactly what I said it would get in the analysis. So hey, so far, doing a pretty good job of reading those ink lines. Let's start with Undercover first. So, obviously, Kunder in Splatoon 2, it was a thing. Basically, Undercover's whole gimmick is, well, first, you gotta break through this shield. And while you're breaking through that shield, you gotta be careful, because there's also a torpedo. You're gonna have to break the torpedo. And while all of that is going on, I also have ink armor, which hold up. I also have this ink armor. Oh, and by the way, since I popped the ink armor, I have another torpedo. And by the way, if any of my teammates gets a kill or assist, or if I get it, I get my shield back again. So good luck actually hitting the player. And that was a very good niche. If you played some weapons like blasters, for example, you would get absolutely just demolished by this weapon, because it would take you like a billion directs to even start to hit the opponent. It was a pain. However, Undercover does not have ink armor. And ink armor was the most important part of it. Ink armor was the special that gave you your shield back anytime any of your teammates gave you an assist. It gave you extra HP for things like AoE weapons so they couldn't just indirect behind you. It did all of that. And now, instead, you have a screen which does not block any shots. Now, on the one hand, having a shield that can block shots and having a shield that can block vision combined could be an interesting combo for half a second until your shield gets deleted. Torpedoes to locate people could be useful with the shield. There's definitely a lot of kit synergy, and Splat color screen might be a pretty decent special. However, I think the main problem is this is still an Undercover, who they have been so afraid that they have not even let it do this yet. It still cannot do this and kill the opponent, which is ridiculous. It does have a slightly faster shield regen. It regens in 4 seconds instead of 4.5, which is okay, but it's not amazing. Torpedo's still really good for it, still has all the combos and things that it normally does, but it's ink armor in combination with that torpedo that really buffed up Undercover in the second game, and even then it didn't last super long. Torpedo used to be super overtuned. The outside hits of Torp used to do 18 damage each. They do 12 now. You could literally die from just a normal torpedo if you were unlucky enough to get hit by enough of them. So, not really the same thing. Hopefully, it's a cheaper points for special, because Undercover's paint isn't actually that insane. It's not that bad, but, like, this is a 180p weapon. And you can see it's still taken me quite a decent bit to actually get the special. So yeah, the paint is not as amazing for a support as a lot of others. I think there may be a small chance we see a little bit of this weapon, but more than likely, I think the main weapon is still too weak. I think Tacticooler and Torp was the only thing that could have maybe saved it and given it some niche, and even then, I was kind of unsure about it. On top of that, if you really, really, really want this new special, they put this has a new kit now too. Now, something I don't talk about in tomorrow's videos, Foil Squeezer's kit is not the most optimal thing in the world. One, it's an ink-hungry sub on an ink-hungry main weapon. I can't really mash all the way, so it'd be even worse if you could actually play this weapon. Its sub and special don't paint very well, which is an issue when your paint mode is kind of limited. This is okay. You know, you can't do this all the time, and if you're painting, you're not shooting at people at the same time, because this does no damage, has no accuracy. It's bad. And on top of that, it's a 210p weapon. Zuka's, like, okay for it. It's still Zuka, but there's not really a whole lot of synergy there. Like, I guess you can hit someone with 2 squeezer shots and then the AoE will kill them, but that's not the greatest combo. This kit doesn't really have a lot of synergy, other than you could try to do the whole wall thing. But Gal just kind of does this thing better, because while 96 is doing this with the wall, it's also painting everything, and Squeezer is not painting everything. So it's just a little bit different here. This kit is not bad by any means. It is still a wall and a Zuka, which are totally competent tools. There's just not a lot of synergy. What the new Squeezer kit has is that synergy. First off is Torpedo, which for whatever reason is getting a bit of, or not Torpedo, is Autobomb, which for whatever reason is getting a bit of hate. But Torpedo is pretty much the best sub this thing could get outside of like a Burst Bomb. For a few reasons. One, it's cheap. It's only 55% of your ink tank. So if you're on an ink hungry weapon, you actually get a lot of shots after it. So for example, Blaster gets 4 shots after an Autobomb. This weapon has 10 shots normally. So that's way more than something like a Splat Bomb where you'd only get 3. And then you'd be completely out of ink where after 4 shots you still have a bit left on this thing. So you can even bump it up to 5 if you have like comeback. So 1 is ink efficiency, but 2 is locations. Squeezer is a weapon that once it gets target locked, just kind of instantly kills something from across the map while jumping around. Being able to tell where people are is really important. Squeezer is a really good weapon when it knows where people are and can shoot them. This is something that just wants to go and shoot the enemy team the entire fucking game. So it's really useful to be able to know where they are. And Screen kind of does a similar job, really, of I'm gonna put up the screen, and then I will have opponents who have a harder time shooting back, or I will be able to use the screen as some form of cover to, like, get picks on people, and people can't sneak through the screen to get to me, because if they do, they'll get, like, gray bubbled and all that, which might even give you away, potentially, and then I can just shoot them. And, again, they're gonna have a harder time shooting back. So the whole kit is basically, I will find the enemy team, I will control where they move a little bit, and that makes it really easy for me to just instantly laser the other team. And if the weapon also can probably get a bit more special since it has a bomb and not this. You know, this doesn't really paint very much. So I think it could be very interesting. And I think if you're running a Squeezer, you're not expecting it to get a lot of specials to get you in anyway because it doesn't paint that well. So more than likely, you're going to have other things on your comp that compensate for it. So having a more synergistic kit with a much better sub-weapon for it that gives the ability for this thing to have a bomb would be a lot better. And it also means that when you are running comps with an anchor, or even like another mid-range weapon like Rapid Deco, for instance, this is much easier to run when you have the version that has an actual bomb on it than it is to run this version. So I think it will add Squeezer into a... I think it will make Squeezer have a lot easier of a time being played in other compositions. I think the special will still do enough for the role it's in, and I think the main weapon is very strong. I would not be surprised if we saw this in comp. As long as the special is, like, decent enough, I think we will see this over the Manila kit at times. Probably not all the time. I think both kits will coexist here. But I think we will see it a decent amount. If the screen is, like, really weak, though, then yeah, probably we'll just see the kit with the bazooka because it's still a fucking bazooka. So, you know, that's kind of how the game works. So, yeah. Not too much to say about either of these kits, mostly because, again, we kind of have expected these, and they're not too complicated, and there's not as much I can say about a special that's not in the game yet. But hopefully we get the other kits soon. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. It looks like we might only be getting 2 screen weapons. I thought we would get 3, especially if it's the only special, but I figure they would probably reveal all the weapons with it while they're talking about it. So maybe we'll see a 3rd, but if this is it, then at least we got lucky enough to put it on Squeezer, and hopefully we remember to put it on more things in the game so we don't end up with, like, 5 kits with it. Anyway, thanks for watching.